The open roads, the big sky, the promise of affordable living, and that perfect Texas home with a bright green lawn. But look closer. That lawn is fading to brown, the lakes that fed it are sinking, and the real estate dream that drew millions to the Lone Star State is starting to crack, just like the ground beneath it. Across Texas, the water is running out. This isn't a one-season drought. This is a permanent transformation, where the single biggest factor in your home's value is no longer location or school districts, it's water. From North Dallas suburbs to West Texas oil country, communities are already seeing the early signs of collapse. Double-digit water rate hikes, restrictions that ban outdoor watering, and multi-million-dollar infrastructure failures that leave entire cities dry. And when the water goes, housing prices follow, because you can't sell a house without running taps, no matter how low the property tax is. Over the next few minutes, we'll drive straight into the heart of this unfolding water shortage crisis. From the booming suburbs of Killeen County to the oil-rich streets of Midland, you'll see the numbers, the causes and the warning signs most buyers are still ignoring. Stay with us, because by the end of this countdown, you'll know exactly which 10 cities are standing on the edge of the next Texas housing market crash. Number 10. Celina. Paradise on paper, trouble underground. 30 miles north of Dallas, Celina looks like the embodiment of the Texas dream. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the country, but it's built on a hidden fault line. Celina's growth has outpaced its water. The city relies entirely on the Upper Trinity Regional Water District, and that dependence is getting costly. Public records show rate hikes of more than 10%. Followed by another 9% just to keep up with demand. Every new subdivision means new pipes, new pumps, new debt. Picture this, you buy a $600,000 dream home, and before you've even unpacked, your water bill is higher than your neighbors who moved in 5 years ago. City reports describe a critical need for new storage and pump stations, projects that cost millions and take years. Meanwhile, the Texas Water Development Board projects a regional water deficit, topping 100,000 acre-feet per year by 2070. That's a future where lawns go illegal, soils crack, and foundations shift. Celina's prosperity is built on faith, but faith won't refill a reservoir. Number 9. Leander boom meets the drought line. Head north of Austin, and the master-planned subdivisions look unstoppable. But beneath the surface, Leander is straining. The city is under Stage 2 water restrictions. 1 lawn watering day per week, late-night hours only. The reason? Lake Travis, Leander's main source, has shrunk dramatically, hovering near the low 60s in capacity. Over the last decade, Leander's population exploded by more than 120 more people, same water. During peak summer demand, engineers warned the system ran above 90% capacity. No safety margin, 1 pump failure, 1 burst pipe, and neighborhoods could go dry. If lake levels keep slipping, Stage 3 kicks in. No outdoor watering at all, no curb appeal, no resale advantage. This is how a housing crisis begins, not with sudden price crashes, but with slow erosion of livability. Number 8. El Paso. A desert city running on borrowed water. At Texas's western edge, El Paso lives on 2 fragile lifelines, the Bolson Aquifer and the Rio Grande. Both are in distress. The aquifer's been overpumped for decades. As it drops, the remaining water turns saltier and more expensive to treat. The Rio Grande hasn't delivered a full allocation in most of the last 2 decades. Upstream agriculture consumes the lion's share before El Paso even gets a chance. Desalination plants run non-stop, but the deeper they draw, the more brackish the supply, and the higher the bills. Here, water and housing are inseparable. When water costs double, affordability collapses. Listings still sell stability, but the city's been rationing reality for years. Number 7. Corpus Christi. Surrounded by water, starved for it. The Gulf roars, the air smells like salt, and yet Corpus Christi is parched. Stage 3 drought rules limit homeowners to watering once every 2 weeks, while major industrial users continue largely unrestricted. The city's reservoirs, Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon, hover at critically low levels. A long-promised solution, seawater desalination, ballooned from a $160 million idea to a $1.2 billion bill, then was cancelled in 2025, after public pushback. Now there's no long-term plan. Aging pipes leak billions of gallons a year. Boil water notices are routine. Homeowners pay for water that never reaches their faucets. A paradise with nothing left to drink. Number 6. Wichita Falls. Desperation became innovation, then a warning. During the brutal 2011-2015 drought, Wichita Falls nearly ran dry. The city launched direct potable reuse, recycling treated wastewater, straight into the drinking supply. It worked. The rains returned. The system was mothballed, but the core problem never left. With drought back, the city approved a $35 million indirect reuse system to pump treated water 15 miles back to Lake Arrowhead. Residents fund it through sharp rate hikes, with drought surcharges waiting if conditions worsen. Imagine paying a premium for recycled water, and being told to conserve more. As reservoirs dip, so do property values. Number 5. San Angelo, an oasis running on empty. Deep in West Texas, San Angelo's small reservoir network is nearly tapped out. In late 2024, Fisher sat around 1.5% capacity, Twin Buttes near 14%. The region now leans almost entirely on one shared source, Ivie, also serving Midland and Odessa. 3 cities, 1 lifeline. If Ivie drops, San Angelo's drought plan moves from 2 watering days per week to 1, then to a total ban. 73% of the city's water use is residential. That means homeowners are first in line for restrictions and rate hikes. When the last reservoir dips below safety thresholds, there's nothing left to borrow. Number 4. Killeen, where water scarcity meets working class strain. Killeen's stability comes from Fort Cavazos, but the army can't make it rain. The city depends on Lake Belton, and levels have seesawed between moderate and severe drought. Stage 1 conservation comes and goes. The water system is aging, leaks waste millions of treated gallons. Those repair costs roll downhill to homeowners. In a city with higher than average poverty, a $50 to $100 increase in the monthly water bill can push families from tight budgets into missed payments. This isn't a headline crash, it's a quiet squeeze where water becomes a luxury. Number 3. Lubbock, living on ancient water, running out of time. On the high plains, Lubbock drinks from the Ogallala Aquifer, ancient water formed during the last ice age. It takes thousands of years to refill naturally. Since the 1950s, Ogallala's saturated volume has fallen significantly. In Lubbock County, pumping far exceeds recharge. That's not consumption, it's extraction. As wells run deeper, costs climb. Farmers face brutal math, pay more for water or abandon fields. When agriculture stumbles, the local economy and housing follow. Subsiding ground, higher utility bills, and a shrinking job base aren't abstract, they're market forces. Number 2. Odessa, where oil, water and survival collide. In 2022, a mainline rupture left 165,000 residents without water for days. It happened again in 2024. The city is racing to replace hundreds of miles of 70-year-old pipes. Meanwhile, the oil industry consumes staggering volumes for hydraulic fracturing. Companies are buying up water rights and land, paying prices the city can't match. Add new data centers demanding massive cooling water, and the same scarce supply must serve homes, wells and servers. Out here, rigs keep pumping even when your kitchen faucet doesn't. Number 1. Midland, the empire built on oil, collapsing under thirst. Midland's water stress is among the highest in Texas. The city relies on 2 sources, the CRMDD system, including 08, Ivie, and the T-Bar well field. In 2025, a valve malfunction on the T-Bar pipeline triggered outages. Zebra mussels forced a partial shutdown at the main treatment plant. Reservoirs continue their long decline. At the same time, oil companies outbid public agencies for water rights, locking in supply for drilling while residents face conservation orders. In Midland, prosperity has always depended on abundance. With infrastructure failures, vanishing reservoirs, and corporate water wars, that illusion is evaporating fast. When the wells run dry in million-dollar neighborhoods, the crash won't be gradual, it will be instant. You've just crossed the state from Celina's manicured subdivisions to Midland's glass towers, and the pattern is undeniable. Texas isn't facing a normal housing slowdown, it's facing a slow-motion collapse driven by water scarcity. But water is only one pressure point tightening the vice in 2025. Statewide, median home prices are down roughly 3.2% year-over-year to around $331,000, more than $70,000 below the U.S. median. Austin leads the declines at about 6.4%, followed by Dallas near 4.1%, San Antonio around 3.5%, and Houston closer to 2.8%. Inventory has surged roughly 30%, with more than 130,000 active listings. Homes take about 105 days to close, longer, slower, more tentative. This is a major reset from the frenzy of 2020-2022, when cheap money, corporate relocations, and a stampede of newcomers drove bidding wars and overnight sales. By 2024, supply doubled. With mortgage rates hovering around the high 6s to low 7s, affordability became the ceiling. Demand cooled, psychology flipped. In 2021, buyers feared missing out. In 2025, they fear overpaying. Bidding wars have vanished, replaced by seller concessions, rate buydowns, paid closing costs, incentives. Experts aren't calling it a crash. Texas didn't overbuild like 2008, and population growth remains strong. This is a repricing of risk, and water is a big part of that risk. Affordability is the heart of it. A $330,000 home at 3% in 2021 cost roughly $1,400 per month for principal and interest. At 7% in 2025, it's more than $2,600 before insurance and taxes. Middle-class buyers are priced out. Sellers cut or sit. Insurance piles on. Premiums, especially in Houston and along the Gulf, are up 20 to 40% as carriers react to storm losses and wildfire risk. That's another $200 to $300 a month for many households. Floodplain remapping freezes deals overnight. Lenders tighten escrows. Closings drag past 100 days. Liquidity dries up. A single Fed hint about delaying rate cuts stalls contracts statewide. Coastal insurance moratoriums, after storm warnings, freeze transactions for days. These micro freezes ripple through the pipeline. And then there's the state's growth model. No income tax draws people, but limits revenue for infrastructure. Cities struggle with staffing, permitting backlogs, and soaring construction costs. Developers in Austin and Dallas face doubled permit times. Houston wrestles with new flood rules. The machine slows. But this isn't one market. Austin, hardest hit, is digesting tech layoffs and luxury overbuild. DFW is mixed. Some suburbs down, others buoyed by corporate moves. San Antonio's affordability advantage is eroded by insurance and taxes. Houston is steadier, supported by energy jobs, but pressured by premiums. Smaller cities, Waco, Tyler, College Station, quietly outperform, drawing remote workers and retirees. This is redistribution, not destruction. The frenzy is gone. A cautious equilibrium is taking hold. Analysts expect prices to stay flat to slightly down into late 2025, then stabilize or rebound in mid-2026 if rates ease. Jobs, migration, and a pro-business climate still underpin the long game. But make no mistake, in Texas, the next leg of the housing story won't be decided by Wall Street. It'll be decided at the water meter. Because water touches every lever of value. When water prices rise, so do utility bills, property taxes, and defaults. When lakes hit critical lows, lawns die, foundations crack, and insurance spikes. And when taps run dry, home values don't just fall, they evaporate. Buried inside this warning is an opportunity. As cities are forced to rebuild infrastructure and rethink supply, the market will reward those who plan ahead, and punish those who ignore the data. So before you buy, before you build, before you invest, ask one question. Where does the water come from? If you can answer that, you're playing the next Texas housing cycle on hard mode, with the right map. If you can't, you might be holding a 30-year mortgage on a property that won't last another 10 summers. The next Texas housing market crash won't start with the banks. It will start when the wells run dry.